There are moments in time that do not pass unnoticed in the heavens. Tonight is such a moment. The clock is ticking toward an hour that has already been marked, not by human calendars or mortal hands, but by the decree of the Eternal. Archangel Michael, the great warrior of light and truth, has spoken, and his words are not vague riddles nor casual whispers. They are precise, urgent, and absolute. At 10 p.m. tonight something unexpected will collapse. This is your only. Pause on that sentence. Feel the weight of it. The heavens rarely speak with such clarity. Collapse is not merely destruction, it is transformation. Collapse is the sound of false structures falling so that truth can finally stand tall. At 10 p.m., the ordinary veil of time will thin, and what you have ignored, what you thought could stand forever, will no longer hold. This is not to frighten you, it is to awaken you. Prophecy always arrives at the intersection of warning and promise. Michael does not come to entertain you, he comes to prepare you. The unexpected nature of this collapse is what makes it terrifying to some and liberating to others. You may believe that you are secure, that the ground beneath you is steady, but Michael's voice suggests otherwise. He tells you that tonight, the illusions that you have leaned on, the ones you thought were immovable, are about to tremble. Think of the walls of Jericho, standing proud, mocking the possibility of change, until a trumpet blast from heaven brought them down. Think of Babylon, so powerful, so untouchable in appearance, until it fell in a single night. Collapse is not always destruction for the sake of ruin, it is the tearing down of what no longer serves the divine plan. It is the cracking of chains, the ending of false agreements, the shattering of idols we unknowingly built. At 10 p.m., Michael's voice becomes a line in the sand. He does not speak of someday or perhaps. He names the hour. He marks the time. This is a call for readiness. This is your chance to stand aligned with heaven before the moment passes. For once the collapse begins, you cannot stop it. You can only choose where you will be standing when it happens. And so, the prophetic voice rings out. This is your only what? Only chance? Only warning? Only doorway? Michael leaves the phrase hanging, as if to test your spirit. Do you recognize the urgency, or do you dismiss it as another echo in the noise of life? Heaven has a way of leaving unfinished sentences that can only be completed by the choices of men and women who hear. If you are listening now, you have been chosen to hear this message. Do not imagine it was meant for someone else. The prophetic voice is like a sword, it cuts through excuses and delays. It demands response. It demands readiness. So tonight, as the clock draws near 10 p.m., you are standing on holy ground. Your heart will either be heavy with fear of the collapse, or light with expectation of what the collapse will make possible. The angel's words are not a curse, they are an invitation. Something must fall so that something greater can rise. This is the prophetic voice at 10 p.m. This is the hour that heaven itself has underlined. And this, perhaps, is your only collapse. The word alone can make hearts tighten and minds race. We think of collapse as the sudden end of stability, the breaking of something we once trusted, the upheaval that shakes our lives to their foundations. Yet Archangel Michael tells us to understand collapse differently, not as an end, but as the necessary clearing for renewal. Every collapse carries a hidden gift, if we are willing to see it. Think for a moment about the natural world. Trees lose their leaves in autumn, branches break under the weight of ice, rivers change course, mountains erode. All of these are collapses, yet none are meaningless. They make way for spring growth, stronger soil, fresher water, and landscapes more resilient than before. Heaven's hand works in a similar way. What falls is not random destruction, it is divine recalibration. Michael warns that tonight's collapse will follow this eternal principle. The unexpected collapse foretold at 10 p.m. is not just external, it is internal as well. It will touch areas of your life that you may have assumed were untouchable. A career, a relationship, a plan, or even a mindset you believed unshakable. Something in your world that you relied upon as permanent will tremble. This is unsettling. Human nature resists change. We build walls around our lives and call them safety. But Michael's voice reminds us, Walls are only meaningful if they allow space for truth to enter. When false walls crumble, the truth has room to flourish. Renewal does not come without first acknowledging the collapse. To embrace what Michael is bringing tonight, you must accept that the structures that fall are often illusions you have outgrown. Sometimes they are patterns of thought, old fears, or attachments that no longer serve your higher purpose. Heaven allows these collapses to occur because they are necessary for spiritual evolution. The things that remain after the collapse, the essence of who you truly are stronger, clearer, and aligned with your destiny. There is an undeniable tension in the moment of collapse. Fear arises because the familiar is leaving, because certainty seems to dissolve into uncertainty. Yet renewal asks for a different perspective. Consider the chrysalis. It must break for the butterfly to emerge. Consider the phoenix. It burns so that it may rise. The destruction of the old is not arbitrary. It is preparation for the new. Michael asks you to remember that the collapse you will witness tonight is a prelude to liberation. The unexpected nature of this event is what makes it so powerful. When collapse is sudden, it leaves no room for avoidance. There are no half measures, no delays, no compromises. You will either meet it with awareness, courage, and faith, or it will sweep past you, and you may be caught off guard, unprepared to embrace the renewal that follows. Michael emphasizes that preparation is not about controlling the collapse, but about controlling your response. Awareness is the key that turns fear into clarity. Renewal requires action, but the first step is observation. Watch for the signs of change in your environment, in your thoughts, and in your emotions. Listen for subtle shifts that indicate the old structures are loosening their grip. A friend may speak a hard truth. A plan may falter. A situation may suddenly shift. These are not coincidences, they are the divine signals that the collapse has begun. Your response, grounded in faith and awareness, will determine how much of your life emerges renewed, vibrant, and aligned. Michael also wants you to understand that collapse is selective. Not everything will fall. Some things are eternal, anchored in truth and divine alignment. The collapse will separate the necessary from the unnecessary, the temporary from the lasting, the false from the authentic. This separation is a form of mercy. It clears confusion, illuminates clarity, and makes room for what is meant to endure. What remains after tonight's moment is what is truly yours, untouched by illusion, ready to expand. Tonight, when the unexpected unfolds, do not resist. Do not cling to what is breaking. Instead, breathe, observe, and step into the new landscape with openness. Every collapse carries the seed of a miracle, the blueprint for a life more aligned with divine purpose. Michael's voice reminds you that renewal is not passive, it is the active engagement with what is emerging, the conscious choice to rise with the new instead of mourning the loss of the old. Collapse and renewal are inseparable partners in the dance of destiny. One cannot exist without the other. To resist collapse is to resist renewal. To embrace it is to invite divine transformation. Archangel Michael says tonight's event will demonstrate this truth with precision and intensity. Those who prepare with courage, faith, and discernment will not only survive the collapse, they will emerge stronger, wiser, and more aligned with their soul's purpose than ever before. The collapse is coming. The renewal is waiting. Your only choice tonight is to meet it fully, with open eyes and a willing heart, ready to receive the divine gift hidden in the unexpected. Time, as we know it, is measured by clocks, calendars, and schedules. But the heavens measure it differently. There is a rhythm to existence that transcends human understanding, a divine cadence that aligns moments, decisions, and events with the grand design. Tonight, 10 p.m. is not merely a number on the clock. It is a threshold, a sacred juncture, a point in the continuum where heaven itself has decreed that change must occur. Archangel Michael has named this hour, and when the Archangel names a time, it is no accident, no arbitrary selection. The marking of 10 p.m. is a reminder that divine intervention follows divine timing. Every event in your life that has been delayed, resisted, or questioned exists within this timing. Perhaps you have prayed for answers that have not yet arrived. Perhaps you have hoped for change but felt stuck in cycles that refuse to bend. Michael's message tonight tells you that divine timing has a precision that surpasses all human understanding. The collapse that will occur is orchestrated to happen exactly when it will have the greatest effect and the maximum opportunity for renewal. There is a reason the hour is specified with such clarity. Michael speaks in terms of exactitude because the moment is pregnant with potential. At 10 p.m., unseen forces converge, energy shifts, divine alignments manifest, and the veil between ordinary perception and higher awareness thins. What you witness, whether externally or within your own heart, will be unmistakable if you are present. Those who ignore or dismiss this hour may find themselves caught in confusion, wondering how such a dramatic shift could happen without warning. Those who are attentive will recognize it as a divine signal, a calling to action, a prompt from heaven to engage with destiny. Consider the symbolism of night. Darkness is often seen as a time of fear, but in divine perspective, it is a time of preparation. Night conceals the ordinary distractions of the world, allowing your spirit to tune into higher frequencies. By marking 10 p.m., Michael ensures that the collapse occurs in a sacred space where your attention is undivided, where your awareness can meet the event with clarity and discernment. The hour itself is a spiritual conduit. It channels the energies necessary for the old to fall and for the new to rise. Divine timing also works in alignment with human readiness. There is an unseen intelligence that senses when hearts are open enough to receive guidance, when minds are prepared to accept truth, and when circumstances can no longer sustain illusions. 10 p.m. is the appointed moment for your readiness to be tested and revealed. What happens in that hour is a reflection of both heaven's plan and your willingness to participate consciously in it. Michael's declaration is not just a warning, it is an invitation to align, to awaken, and to embrace what is about to unfold. The specificity of 10 p.m. is a lesson in attentiveness. How often do we overlook subtle signs, thinking we have more time than we do? How often do we wait for the right moment, only to realize it has already passed? Tonight, heaven emphasizes that the right moment has arrived. There is power in paying attention to the appointed hour. There is power in being awake, alert, and spiritually prepared. There is power in recognizing that what appears to be unexpected is, in fact, precisely orchestrated. Michael also wants you to understand that divine timing is merciful. By marking the hour, he gives you a chance to position yourself where you need to be. The collapse will not come with ambiguity. Its timing ensures that those who heed the warning can act decisively. Those who are distracted, indifferent, or dismissive may still experience the event, but without the benefit of conscious alignment. Heaven provides signs, instructions, and appointed times so that we may engage actively in our own transformation. 10 p.m. tonight is one of those rare, sacred opportunities. Finally, Michael's designation of 10 p.m. reminds you that you are part of a cosmic rhythm. Your life, your choices, your readiness, they are all measured against the eternal plan. The hour is a signal that the universe is orchestrating events with precision, that nothing occurs by chance, and that even the unexpected is guided by divine wisdom. By embracing this hour, you step into alignment with forces greater than yourself, allowing the collapse to serve not as destruction but as liberation. Tonight is marked. 10 p.m. is sacred. The moment is yours to meet with awareness, courage, and faith. Heaven does not announce such times lightly. Michael's voice rings clear. Pay attention, prepare your heart, and receive what is coming. Every divine message meets resistance. Every prophetic call encounters distractions. Archangel Michael reveals that tonight's warning, about the unexpected collapse at 10 p.m., has not come without attempts to divert your attention. These obstacles are subtle, sometimes almost invisible, and often appear as ordinary events, thoughts, or influences. But they are not ordinary, they are tests of your readiness and discernment. The first obstacle is doubt. You may have heard whispers of change or warnings before and dismissed them as coincidence or imagination. Doubt is a heavy cloud that obscures clarity, convincing the heart that what is coming is unlikely or impossible. Michael wants you to recognize this obstacle because doubt can make you miss the hour entirely. The second obstacle is distraction. Life is filled with noise, tasks, conversations, screens, and obligations that pull your focus away from what truly matters. Even something as simple as busyness can serve as a shield, keeping you from noticing the signs, listening to your intuition, or acknowledging what heaven is trying to communicate. The third obstacle is fear of change. Human nature clings to the familiar, even when it is harmful or untrue. The idea of collapse triggers resistance because it challenges comfort and security. Michael reminds you that fear is natural, but it becomes a barrier when it prevents you from engaging with divine guidance. The fourth obstacle is misinterpretation. Messages from heaven are often symbolic, subtle, and layered. If you have misunderstood signs, ignored intuitive nudges, or rationalized spiritual signals, you may have been steering yourself away from what was meant for you. Misinterpretation can delay your alignment and lessen the impact of your response. Michael assures you that all these obstacles were temporary. They existed to test your vigilance, to strengthen your awareness, and to prepare you to recognize the moment when the collapse occurs. Awareness, presence, and faith are your tools to overcome these distractions. Tonight, you are called to rise above doubt, resist distraction, release fear, and listen carefully. The obstacles that tried to divert you are no longer stronger than the divine mandate. Your attention is required, your alignment is necessary, and your readiness will determine how fully you receive what is coming. Preparation is not about control, it is about alignment. Archangel Michael reminds you that you cannot prevent what is destined to unfold at 10 p.m., but you can position yourself to meet it with clarity, courage, and faith. The first step in preparation is presence. Be fully aware of your surroundings, your thoughts, and your emotions. Pay attention to the signs, subtle shifts in energy, changes in circumstance, or sudden realizations. These are the signals that the collapse is beginning. Next is release. Let go of attachments that no longer serve your higher purpose. This includes outdated plans, toxic relationships, false beliefs, and limiting thoughts. Clinging to the old will only increase resistance and make the transformation more difficult. Michael emphasizes that what falls away tonight is making room for what must rise. Your willingness to release ensures that the space created by collapse is filled with divine possibility. Faith and trust are your strongest allies. Even if you cannot see the full picture, trust that what is happening is aligned with your highest good. The collapse is part of a greater design, orchestrated by forces beyond human comprehension. Faith allows you to move through uncertainty without panic, transforming fear into clarity and confusion into guidance. Once the collapse occurs, preparation turns to engagement with the new. Observe carefully what remains, what emerges, and what feels aligned with truth. This is your opportunity to rebuild consciously, not reactively. Make choices that honor your authentic path and embrace the possibilities now visible in the aftermath. Renewal is not passive, it requires attention, discernment, and deliberate action. Finally, anchor yourself in gratitude and presence. Recognize that even the collapse is a gift, a divine intervention designed to free you from what constrains your growth. Gratitude opens your heart to guidance, reinforces your alignment, and ensures that the opportunities revealed in the collapse are fully realized. Michael's message is clear. Preparation is about awareness, release, trust, and engagement. The collapse at 10 p.m. is not the end, it is the threshold to something greater. Those who prepare with intention will not merely survive the change, they will rise stronger, clearer, and ready to receive the blessings that follow. Tonight is your chance to step fully into this divine transition. Archangel Michael's voice echoes one last time, this is your only chance. The hour is near. At 10 p.m. tonight, what has been unstable, what has hidden in plain sight, will collapse. Do not ignore it. Do not delay. This moment is not merely a warning, it is an invitation. To rise above fear, to release what no longer serves you, and to embrace the renewal that heaven is offering. Your readiness, your attention, and your courage will determine the outcome. Stand fully present. Listen carefully. Trust deeply. The collapse will arrive, but what follows is divine. Clarity, freedom, and a path aligned with your highest purpose. This is your only opportunity to meet it with awareness. Do not let it pass.